Welcome back, friends. We are still talking about breath in our 2-week intensive. Again, my name is Heidi Voss. I am your tone-based voice lead, and I hope you are following along, posting comments, questions, videos in this 2-week intensive, and that you're having a really meaningful experience digging into the concept of breathing for singing and really doing a better job understanding and actually physically building the skills to better manage your breath for singing. All right, so all that said, today I want to talk a little bit about the concept of how our breath can actually get in our way or help us in terms of navigating performance anxiety and performances just in general. So what I tend to find is that singers' breath really can be that tool that helps you harness and navigate your actual mental game. You know, as I often say, breath is sospire, the breath, it's your spirit. And it's so often is influenced by your mental state, your mental health, and your mental health influences the breath influences the mental health. It's this crazy cyclical idea. It's why people who meditate, who practice yoga, often have more of that kind of calm demeanor. They're spending time thinking about their breath, learning how to control their breath, to slow their breath down, and that in turn helps them manage that inner dialogue that they have. So I'm going to encourage you to think about how you navigate your breath in terms of using it as a tool for your mental health, but more so even in this context, to prepare yourself for the performance anxieties and anxieties in general that come up in singing. So if you can control your breath, you can also start to control your mind. So that probably sounds crazy, but it's so true. If you start to get frenzied and worked up, you'll have a shallower breath. If you're having a really good time laughing with friends, you'll get that belly breath. You won't even think about it, and all of a sudden your abs are going to be sore. Your mental state, your ideas in terms of the communication of what you have to say, all come from that breath. So be aware that as you're training your breath, you're training your mind. And if you're training your mind, you also have an entree into character and interpretation. So think about that inhalation being married to the idea and the spirit of what you're about to sing in every phrase. So I'm going to ask you today to go through one of your pieces of music. Now remember that little technical tip I gave you a couple days ago. Make sure that your breaths are always marked in your score and that you're incredibly consistent about where you take those breaths. Always in the same spot every time. Now I want you to think about the spirit of the breath. If it's a fast phrase, it might be an excited breath. So you're thinking about the onset of tone. Remember, the onset of tone doesn't happen when you actually start singing. That phrase starts when you inhale. So I want you to plan for the inhalation, and we're going to do today a little exercise in audiation. So you're looking at a score, thinking about what that score, what the character and the idea is, and you're inhaling in the spirit and the style of it. You're breathing the character in. You're creating the inner dialogue that matches what you really want to say. And let's be honest, nobody in performance really wants to say, oh my God, I'm so nervous, this is going to suck. We don't want that inner dialogue. It's not helpful for anybody. And the audience also doesn't want to see it. That's the human element of your performance. We want to transcend that, and we want to aim toward what we actually want to say, which is expressing the character. It's thinking about the poetry. It's navigating what we have to say artistically in the piece. So we want to get our mind and our breath focused on the artistic statement. So I want you to take a piece of music. You're going to open it up. You're going to make sure all your breaths are marked. You're going to think through the pitches and the rhythms. That's audiation. But not only that, you're also going to think about the artistic ideas that come into play. And I want you to breathe in the style with the idea of that artistic interpretation. So if it's joyful, it'll probably be a nice low breath. If it's pensive, it'll be a pensive breath. If it's bubbly, that's a little joyful too. Either way, you want to think about what it is you're going to say and you're going to express and breathe in the style. So that's your assignment for today. Take control of your breath and aim it toward what you want to say, and make sure that breath is in alignment with your expression.